There are some stories that are not written in the books. They are not recorded in the photographs. They are not always told through words. This artwork has a strong visual story. I have titled this artwork as The Women Who Carried the Fire.
It's a bead mosaic
Created
on an Arabic dove,
inspired by the strength, resilience, and cultural identity
of
of village women. Some stories simply survive through art. When we look at her, at first we may simply see a woman cooking. But for me, she represents something much greater. She represents the woman whose strength has always been part of the foundation of home and a community. A woman who worked quietly, a woman who prepared food for their families, who carried responsibilities without calling them burdens. Women whose hands were constantly busy, yet whose contributions were sometimes almost invisible. I wanted to bring one of those women into the center of the artwork, not as a background figure, not as a decorative element, but as the main subject, because her story deserves to be seen. The first thing that makes this artwork different is the surface itself. The image is created on an Arabic dove. The dove is traditionally associated with rhythm, celebration, gathering, and the sounds of community. And I found this to be a beautiful foundation for this story. Because village life also has its own rhythm, the rhythm of preparing food, gathering wood, the rhythm of fire, the rhythm of hands working and people coming together, the rhythm of daily life. So the circular form of the dove becomes more than just the shape of the artwork. It becomes a symbol of continuity. A circle has no real beginning and no real end. And in the same way, traditions are passed from one generation to another. A mother teaches her daughter, a daughter becomes a mother, and the knowledge continues. The stories continue, the memories continue. The circle becomes the visual representation of that inheritance. At the center of artwork is the woman. She is seated beside the fire preparing food. She is not shown as weak. She is not shown as defeated by the work around her. Instead, she appears focused, steady, capable, and strong. There are quiet dignity in her presence, and the quietness is intentional because strength does not always need to be loud. And sometimes the strongest person in the room is the person who says nothing at all. The woman represents that kind of strength, a quiet strength, a strength that is built through everyday life. Look closely at her hands. Her hands are one of the most important part of this story. Hands carry memory, hands carry knowledge, hands learn through repetition. A woman who has prepared food for years does not need to think about every movement. Her hands already know. They know how much heat is needed. They know when the food is ready. They know how to work around the fire. And those same hands may have also held children, carried water, worked in the garden, cleaned home, and cared for the family. So in this artwork, the hands are not simply part of the figure. They represent generations of knowledge that was often passed without formal teaching. A child simply watched, then she helped, then she learned, and eventually she became the one teaching the next generation. The cooking pot is another important element. A pot can appear like a simple household object, but culturally it can represent much more. A cooking pot means food, food means nourishment, and nourishment means care. This is why food is so deeply connected to hospitality and community. A meal brings people together, they sit together, they talk, they laugh, share stories, they celebrate. They sometimes solve problems, and memories are created around food. So the pot in this artwork becomes a symbol of the woman's role as a giver of nourishment and keeper of the home. Then there comes a fire. The fire may be most powerful symbol in this artwork. Fire can be dangerous, it can be difficult to control, but fire also gives warmth. And throughout human history, fire has been connected with survival. That is why I see the fire as a reflection of her own character. She carries the same qualities. She is warm, powerful, she can be gentle, but she is also capable of surviving difficult conditions. The fire becomes metaphor for her strength. She does not stand away from it. She works with it. And that is what she has done throughout her life. She has worked with whatever life placed in front of her. The wood underneath the pot is also meaningful. Wood is simple, natural, earthy. It comes from the land and it represents the connection between people and their environment. The beads themselves also carry a meaning. Every small bead has been placed individually, one by one. There's no shortcut in bead mosaic. Each bead requires attention. Each small piece becomes part of something larger. And that process mirrors the story of the woman in the artwork. Her strength was not created in one day. It was built from thousands of small actions. One day after another, one meal after another, one responsibility after another, one challenge after another, one generation after another. Just as this artwork is built from countless individual beads, as life is built from countless individual moments. A single bead may seem insignificant, but remove enough beads and the image begins to disappear. In the same way, the small acts of care that women has given to their families and communities may seem ordinary when looked at individually, but together they create something enormous. They create a home, they create a family, they create a community, they create a heritage. The colors in the artwork are also deliberate. The strong pinks and reds of the women's clothing create a powerful presence. They make her impossible to overlook. She is not fading into the background. She demands attention. The green background creates a connection with nature. It creates a connection with land and life. And against that green, the woman becomes almost like a living memory emerging from the landscape. The darker colors around the pot and fire bring us back to earth. They remind us of soil, wood, smoke, and the physical reality of traditional cooking. Together, these colors create a balance between life, nature, work, warmth, and celebration. But perhaps the most important part of this artwork is what we do not see. We don't see the entire village. We don't see every person who will eventually eat meal. We don't see the children waiting. We don't see the neighbors. We don't see the conversations. We don't see the generations before her, and we don't see the generations after her. But they are all there in the story. They exist beyond the circular frame. The woman becomes the doorway into a much larger world, a world of shared needs, family, neighborhoods, traditions, hospitality, hard work, and belonging. The woman who carried the fire is therefore not only simply a portrait of a woman cooking. It's a tribute. It's a tribute to resilience, motherhood, and caregiving, a tribute to traditional knowledge, a tribute to hospitality, a tribute to the women whose work often happened quietly behind the scenes, and the tribute to the communities that were built around their hands. The fire represents her strength, the pot represents her generosity, the wood represents her connection to the land, the beads represent the countless moments that make up a life, and the dove represents rhythm, gathering, celebration, and continuity. Together they tell one story. And perhaps that is the most beautiful thing about cultural art. It begins with one story, but it can awaken hundreds of memories. So, when you look at this piece, I invite you not to see only a woman cooking. Look at her hands, look at the fire, look at the pot, look at the wood, look at the beads, and listen to the rhythm of the dove. Imagine the sound of a village. Imagine the smell of food cooking over a fire. Imagine people gathering. And then ask yourself, who was the woman who fed your family, who taught you the traditions you carry today? Perhaps she is a part of your story too. So, this artwork is dedicated to them, to the women who worked with their hands, to the women who created warmth from very little, to the women who transformed simple ingredients into nourishment, to the women who turned houses into homes, and to the women who carried the fire. So, this is not only her story, it is the story of strength, culture, and belonging. And it is the story that deserves to be continued.